guys, it's Talisha, and I mean, let's be real, you already know what this video is about because you have read the title, I am sure, unless you just randomly clicked because you saw I uploaded a video, which if you did do that, wow, you're dedicated, thank you. But no, let's just get straight into the obvious. I sold Isabelle. So if you guys remember when I was given Isabelle, remember she was given to me, I did not buy her, but when she was given to me the plan was always to be to resell her. However, I did not plan to do it under 12 months. However, it happened. So the plan for Isabelle was to retrain her. I got her straight off the track, if you guys don't know. Literally her final race, she came straight home to me the next day. And I let her have 3 to 4 months of downtime in the paddock where she was just alone. I did a bit of basic grooming and catching her and just spending a bit of time with her because she was a very anxious mare who had obviously had some unhappy times in the past. And was fairly misunderstood from how I felt working with her. Anyway, so I got her going under saddle again after her big break. I mean, she was broken in for, she was 4 when I got her, just turned 4, and she was broken in as a 2-year-old, raced as a early 3-year-old, and then retired just before she turned 4, which is when she came to me. So she'd obviously had her track education, which is very different from your normal performance horse disciplines, or any discipline really. Track riding, racing is very, very different. However, I knew what I was getting myself into. I am a track rider, I know, and I have been working with racehorses for 6 years now, so I know their work through and through. And she was definitely the most sensitive horse I have ever ridden and ever dealt with in any way whatsoever. I've never come across such a sensitive and anxious mare, and it made me worried about my chances of reselling her. I say reselling, but selling, because I did not buy her. And the reason I took her on in the first place was actually, I was not planning on getting another horse. However, Bambi had injured herself for the second time, and I knew the lady who bred and owned her, and she said, look, I've got this lovely grey mare who's just retired, do you want her? She offered her to me before Bambi injured herself the second time, and I said no, I had no interest in owning thoroughbreds because I just didn't want a thoroughbred long term. And I thought she wanted to give her to me as a forever home, and I love thoroughbreds, but personally a thoroughbred was just not what I wanted. And then when Bambi injured herself, she's like, are you sure you don't want this? Like, if it doesn't work out, I can take it back. You have nothing to lose. I was like, yes, I'll take her on as long as you're happy for me to sell her on. And she said, yes, of course, that sounds perfect. If you find her a nice home in like the performance horse world, perfect, wonderful. So I said, yeah, why not? I don't have a horse to ride. I did ride Jep, but Jep was semi-retired. She's 26, so I was not doing anything too difficult with her, and I wanted a horse that I could work towards something with, you know what I mean? So I took her on, and did plan to have her for at least 12 months. Honestly, I thought I was going to have her a lot longer than 12 months just because she was such a quirky mare. However, anyway, I got her going under saddle. She threw me a lot of difficulties just with her sensitivity. You guys have watched some of the videos, I'm sure, of her, especially my first ride. She's very, very reactive mare. Any change to your seat, hand or leg, she reacts like that. She was not an easy horse to ride and required a lot of confidence as well because she's such an anxious mare. She fed off your confidence. Everything, like, she was a difficult horse in the way of bitting as well. I got a special bit for her which went with the new owners. It was one of the trust bits. It was virtually a rubber bit. She has a really, really soft, sensitive mouth. I was riding her bitless for a while before I found that bit. Because she was not comfortable in a normal snaffle. Just a simple single link or double link. I like the double lengths better, and that's what I had her in. She just did not like it, so I rode a bitless for a while, which she worked really well in. However, we had an incident about 2 weeks in of riding bitless where she spooked at my leg because she just reacted to my leg. It was almost like I was walking and I was doing leg yields, and it kind of just came on a little bit faster than she expected, I guess. Nothing like it wouldn't set off a normal horse, if you know what I mean, but she was just very sensitive. And anyway, it freaked her out. She bolted. I couldn't stop her, and we went right through my fence. Well, she didn't go through the fence, she ran into the fence. The fence is still bent. It is like this. And I went over the fence. I still have damage to my foot months later, but I can walk and do everything. It's just my foot still isn't right. My heel isn't quite right still. Anyway, so then I was banned from riding her bitless because my parents care about my safety, and I know like having a bit in may not have changed anything. However, I would have had more control. And I understood where they were coming from, and I knew I needed to put her in a bit anyway, because you can't compete in dressage or showing or pony club. Not that she is by any chance a pony club horse at this rate, but you know what I mean, without a bit. I was not going to be selling her on if she could not go comfortably in a bit. However, a friend of mine lended me a few bits of hers that she used on some of her off the tracks, and the trust, I can't remember what it's called, but it's a rubber bit. It's like really flexible, like you can bend it in half. That worked beautifully with her. It got rid of all of her resistance. She stopped pulling the bit out of, like, she'd lean or she'd chuck her head even on the lunge, meaning I have no pressure or anything, and she would throw her head, just long reining. And this bit took all of that away. She was working so perfectly in it. I'm kind of annoyed I didn't have any videos of the last couple rides with her, but she sold quite quickly. I was not advertising her, nor was I planning on advertising her anytime soon. I was going to be out competing her. But I am comfortable that I did sell her at a stage where I believe for that rider, so I know this person very, very well, and I would not have sold her at that stage to someone I didn't know and didn't know personally how they handle horses and how they ride, how, you know, all of that. But this person approached me and said that they were interested in her, and I said, look, she's not for sale. She's a very quirky mare. However, they have a lot of experience with horses like this and off the tracks, and a lot of the quirks that do come with off the tracks. And she came out, loved her instantly. She's a very sympathetic rider as well. She's very kind, which is what Isabelle needed. She cannot handle any stress. You could not, any stress, anything strong. This horse needs to be ridden and handled with a very soft, forgiving hand. You cannot get mad at this horse. If you were ever to get mad at this horse, I would hate to see how she would react, because I think she would just shut down and probably explode because she's just so anxious. But yeah, she managed to feel like this lovely lady worked so well with her, and she's had her for about 2-3 weeks now, and everything is smooth sailing. So things happen for a reason. She was going to be a very difficult horse for me to sell on if I had held on to her until she was out competing, just because she needed a specific rider and she could not have just gone to anyone. I personally was getting worried about selling her to someone I didn't know, because they can come out and things can work well in that ride, but then you just don't know. You don't know the person, and I know this horse very well, and I was so stressed of her, and even to a stage where I was considering keeping this horse forever, because I didn't want her to go to a home where they were forceful with her, were not patient with her, or were not super kind to her, because if she had an anxious rider on her, it'd be too much for her. If she had someone on the ground that was anxious to handle her, again, she needed someone confident that she could trust and lean on to know that everything's okay, and she really needed that support person, which was why I was so happy to sell her onto this person, because they're perfect for each other. She literally is 10 minutes down the road from me as well, so I can see her all the time. It just worked out really, really well. And I'm very happy with how everything worked out and that she's going so well. But I will keep you updated on her as well, and when I do go to see her, which will happen probably fairly soon, honestly, because she's so close to me and I know the person so well and I'm over there all the time anyway. But yeah, so that is the weird update on Isabelle that I didn't expect to make so early on. But yeah, so down to just my two little mares, Jeppy and Bambi. So I hope you guys somewhat enjoyed that little update. I know you guys were really excited to see more of Isabelle and our journey, and I mean, I was excited to do more with her and to share our journey, but things worked out really well in the end and I could not turn away the offer or the home for her because it was just perfect. And I'll see you guys next week for a show vlog because competitions are in full swing. Okay, bye.